here we are.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody in chat. Hi, JC. Good night.
Hello,
Good
Claire.
Sunday night. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes.
I'm just so happy you're still talking to me after I made you watch this episode.
I know. I remember you saying you're going to hate me for this one. You're going to call me screaming for this one. I was like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
It was rough, and I give you a lot of credit. You did not call me, and you did not scream. You didn't even curse me out. Nothing.
I didn't.
No, you didn't. You're a good egg. I say that. It's like I say that all the time.
That almost makes me a little scared of myself.
No. Well, you know what? Because the more I thought about it, like when I first watched it and I was like, this is why I didn't remember anything about this. I blocked it all out.
Right?
Like,
I told you the same thing. I'm like, I don't remember this episode when they were going in the warehouse, the first scenes. I'm like, what are they running from? I completely forgot everything, but I remembered as it went on.
And just how traumatic when they finally find out what they're fighting, what they're running from. That thing disturbed me. I thought the bees were bad. No.
Right? Robot dogs are worse.
They're definitely a little angrier, a little more violent, a little more tenacious would be the word. Like, they don't give up. You're not getting away from the robot dog. Once it's got its sight on you, it's not going to give up.
Do you see what Always Grateful says? I remember why I never watched this episode a second time until this past week. So did you watch it again, Always?
Yeah, and then I'm sorry we did that to you always also, because we did block it out too. And it left me with such a sense of desolation and hopelessness. And I think, in all honesty, that was his point. That is the only point that I get out of this whole thing, because even the technology point is it's there, but it's not as strong as other episodes. It was the hopelessness. I'm gonna let you start because you been teasing me about an interview you read with our boy Charlie. Our boy Charlie.
I don't believe him and one of his answers. So I kind of was correct in one aspect. So this is an interview that was done in 2017. It looks by Entertainment News, I think. I can send you the link so you can put it in the description. But so I don't know if anyone has seen these videos on YouTube by Boston Dynamics with their robots dancing to music.
Like the dog.
Yes, Uptown Funk and other different songs, and they do it really well. Well, someone from Entertainment Weekly asked Charlie Brooker, the creator of Black Mirror, they said, I assume that the Boston Dynamic videos on YouTube, sorry, hold on just a second, I lost my place. They're basically asking, I assume that was part of your inspiration for this episode. And they said, Charlie said that's actually scarily correct. It was from watching by Boston Dynamics videos, but crossed with a film called All Is Lost. I wanted to do a story where there was almost no dialogue, and with those videos, there's something very creepy watching them where they get knocked over and they look sort of pathetic lying there, but then they slowly manage to get back up. So if anybody, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about with the crazy robot, they almost look like, some of them look like dogs, like crane necks. Some of them almost look like humans standing up now, but they still look like robots. They don't have skin or anything. But if you see those videos and you watch this episode, you're gonna go, oh my God, this is a Black Mirror episode, or oh my God, this is real life.
So Charlie, you think Charlie got his inspiration there, and he's just deflecting. He's just giving us a bunch of bullshit and saying no.
No, not on this part. The teddy bears at the end. I don't know if you want to get in the end scene first or not, but
First, let's tell anybody who is in the chat that doesn't know or didn't rewatch it. We'll just give a small little synopsis of it. It is definitely post-apocalyptic. It is something has happened. Everything's desolate. There's no vegetation. It looks all very desolate and strange and very, tumbleweeds flying. Everything's covered with dust and dirt. All the vehicles look old. The filming, the cinema, I have to tell you, a great credit to the cinematographer. I think that added so much to the episode. It drew me in.
Yes.
It helped with the feeling he was trying to convey, because I'm going to stick with that theme. I really think the whole thing was hopelessness. It's the only word I can think to define how I felt on edge during the whole episode from the very start. And just as that thing is coming and coming and coming. But what happens is they're out. There are 3 people. Maxine Peake plays Bella, and she's joined by 2 people, Clark and Anthony. And they are out looking for supplies in this post-apocalyptic world, and also on a small mission to bring comfort to a dying child back at their camp or wherever they are. We don't get to know much about that camp or the other people are there, how many, what's going on. We just know about this child, and somewhat later on, we realize that Bella has family there, and that they must all, because they talk like they have people to get back to. Okay.
Right.
So they encounter this, what would you call this evil robotic dog. Apparently there are these robotic dog-like machines, and they are geared for attack and kill. They are some type of war thing or something that was just technology was made for a single purpose, to track you and annihilate you, period. That's
basically
it. That's all they do. They can find you anywhere. Once they get a sight on you, they are tenacious. They do not stop. They just keep coming. It's kind of like I think we were talking earlier, right? JC's kind of like The Walking Dead with the zombies. Post-apocalyptic, and you just can't stop them. They just keep coming.
You just basically have to survive the thing. You can't stop the thing. You just have to survive the whole experience if you can.
So they're trying to keep away from it. In the very beginning, she loses both of her partners in this mission. They are both taken out by the dog.
Like in the first scene.
Yeah. The first, oh my God, JC, I'm so sorry I made you watch this. Literally.
I think I told you I couldn't. I've forgotten that they really show it. For those of you who don't know, they both had basically got shot in the head. And that's putting it very mildly. You see everything. Some scenes will just kind of show and leave it to your imagination. Someone was shot in the head and killed. But no, you're like...
No. This was done for impact.
It was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. It's probably why
and that's why the cinematography was so good. That's why they the way they filmed it in black and white. They could get away with showing the graphics that way and just making it that impactful.
Yeah, you're right.
So so it made it much more violent, and you just add to it. And Nikki brings up a good point, that her husband, when he watches them, the thing he likes about these Black Mirror episodes is they're all like mini foreign films. And I definitely agree with that, because there is a little bit difference in rather the big productions that are done, a small foreign film. This does have that feel. A lot of these Black Mirror episodes do. And I agree with him, Nikki. That is one of the things I think you hit the nail on the head of what I really am intrigued by with Charlie Brooker in this whole series. As much as he's pissing me off lately, Charlie Brooker, giving me all this emotional baggage I got to deal with, and upsetting me so much, and no answers. But I'm still a big fan of the way they did it. They did it all. And I do agree also that there was definite Terminator vibes in this, because again, that was some post-apocalyptic machine that would track you and track you and track you. But these dogs thankfully didn't talk back to you. They didn't talk, and they couldn't pretend they were human.
I almost wish they would have talked. I think it would have been less scary than what they were.
I don't know. I would imagine
that they shot out.
I don't know. Hearing "I'm going to kill you" B probably would have scared me even more. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want them to talk to me. It's bad enough they kept commenting like, "Don't talk to me. Don't try to have a conversation." No. Why are you killing me dead? No, no, no. I'm
They
glad they didn't talk. Yeah, I
were
don't think
not
I could
coming to
handle it.
talk to someone's
Yeah.
about someone's extended car warranty because they
Y-
probably had their own warranties
Yeah,
that they had to.
what a funny premise that is. In their pre-apocalyptic life, they were all car salesmen.
Right?
Now they're attack dogs. No, that didn't happen. We're just making it funny about it. But anyway, the rest of the thing is her in survival mode, trying to get away from this robotic dog through many trials and tribulations. It has a way to shoot a tracker into you where it
Many.
can find you anyway. And it is she's traveling through a desolate area, losing a vehicle, trying to find another vehicle, has to get into a house or a compound. And of course, everywhere you go, every building you enter, there are no people in there anymore. It's eerie. And then you're finding the remnants of whatever happened, because these dogs, and there is more than one, right, JC? They're like,
Oh yeah.
they're out
You
there.
see that towards the end of the
Mhm.
episode as well, that they
Mhm.
basically, those dog robots go everywhere that she has been. The car crash, the
Mhm.
tree, the
Mhm.
warehouse.
They all
They're
follow.
they're
They
just
go.
start coming. Yeah.
Yeah. They just start coming. The one must give out some kind of a message. They must be communicating some kind of way. There's some kind of tracking that's going on, that they finally all come together. But um, basically, it's her and the dog through most of it. It should be noted that this is the shortest of the Black Mirror episodes. It was
Oh,
only
I
what,
didn't
40.
realize that.
Yeah, it's 41 minutes, which is pretty short for Black Mirror, but it was definitely impactful the whole time.
Right. You definitely feel like it's a lot longer than that.
Mm-hmm. It was written by Charlie Brooker, and the director was David Slade. He did a great job. I don't know who the cinematographer was. I want to give him a lot of credit. I'm going to figure that out and add it to the description, because he deserves great props. I was immensely impressed with the cinematography, because it made me feel,
Yes.
and it's not easy to make people feel in film. Okay, usually that takes the actress,
With
who
not a lot
also,
of dialogue, right?
right,
Because
right.
I mean, she talked a little bit to the robots and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but really
Mm-hmm.
the only communication with other humans was in those first couple scenes, other than the radio, the
Mm-hmm.
walkie-talkie, or
Right.
and the
Nope.
whistling.
No, I get it. But that's like the synopsis, and it gets all the way to the end. We're not going to tell you about the end yet. We're going to leave that for the end. So, JC, tell me now,
Yes,
what is Charlie Brooker lying about? Like, you're enticing me so much. Like, the
I
dude is.
am. Well, okay. So you had a theory about the very last scene where they pan out and show what was in the box, that everyone, what they were
Mhm.
looking for, what was the thing that was going to help the kid who was dying. And the theory was that it was just something comforting to bring back to the child. Like, I was thinking it was medicine or something like that. I even forgot what it was, even watching it the second time around.
Mhm.
I don't know if you had that experience as well, but I was like, yeah, what is in the box? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Well,
because it was it was unsettling. I blocked it out. Go on.
it was super unsettling. I mean, I think you and I always grateful. I don't know if anybody else said this to you, but we all said like we couldn't remember what the episode was about. And so we
Mhm.
started watching it again, and then we're all like, "Oh yeah, now I remember." I
Mhm.
mean, the rest of the episodes I have a vague understanding of what happened. I kind of remember some of the details, but this one I'm like, I don't really remember anything. And I think it was because it was so traumatic. It was, like you said, hopelessness. That's all you felt
Mhm.
throughout the whole episode, and definitely towards the ending. It was just gut wrenching. And then seeing the violent ways that people died and them showing it. But the
Mhm.
teddy bears, when I saw it, I instantly thought of the episode. I think it's called Black Museum,
Mhm.
where the mom passes away and her consciousness ultimately gets put in a teddy bear.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking that relieving the pain, because like, how can a teddy bear, like, why would they risk their lives over getting a teddy bear for a dying kid? Like, I don't think anybody's that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, make them a stick in some leaves or something. Like, surely no one's expecting you to go out there and risk your life to get a teddy bear, because it's not actually going to make them better. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that because of all the technology and things that they're not telling us what led up to all of this, who's controlling, if anybody's controlling, if the robots are just controlling themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking this is a way, maybe this person is not in physical pain, but just the mental pain of being able to handle any of this. Maybe there's some
Mm-hmm.
way that the people still had to upload their consciousness into the teddy bear so that they would no longer have to experience this whole
Mm-hmm.
hopeless ordeal. That was
Mm-hmm.
my thought.
And I
I
get
thought it
that,
was
and
an
I
Easter egg.
it
And
could be.
and the husband in that episode, his name was Jack. And that's the same name as this kid. So
And that was
that's why I
the
was
name of the
like,
kid. Mm.
I figured it out. I figured out an Easter egg all on my own.
There you
However,
go. Happy Easter egg.
however, in this interview with Entertainment Weekly, where did it go? All right. So they ask, other than the lost humanity and possible callback to another action-filled episode, what was the purpose of the teddy bears? And Charlie Brooker said, because the interviewer was thinking that they were going back to the episode White Bear, which
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
different.
Right.
But he said the bears were actually yellow, but it was shot in black and white, so they look
Mm-hmm.
like they're white. He said, we went back and forth on what should be in the warehouse. Originally in the script, it just said toys. The idea was a box of toys for a dying child. David wanted it to be the only soft and comforting thing that we saw in the entire piece. He wanted
Mm-hmm.
it to be something softer and more immediately comforting. So we went for bears, which is probably just as well because a crate full of fidget spinners would have been ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, it
And
would have
I
been.
think his answer is ridiculous. I think he's lying.
I don't. Go ahead. Go on.
So there are no coincidences in Black Mirror. Okay, the dying kid's name was Jack and the husband's name was Jack in the same episode where they uploaded someone's consciousness into a teddy bear. Nope.
No. Well,
Nope.
So you think that teddy bear had somebody's consciousness in it, and that's why they were bringing it back?
I think it had the ability to put their consciousness in it, and that's why they were bringing it back. Yes.
Mm.
Because it was like to end the suffering. You don't physically have to be here anymore, and you can be in a teddy bear. And how can the robots find just a consciousness in a teddy bear? They probably can't because they probably haven't got that upload on their software yet. So
I could agree with all of that, but for me, it was like so much more gut-wrenchingly more basic.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
going
you
to
and Charlie are wrong. I just do.
Okay. And you can, because that's what this is all about. But for me, it was primal. It's post-apocalyptic. Okay. They have nothing. They're fighting for everything. You see what their clothes are all dusty and ripped, and everything is scavenger. They have to fight for everything. And then there's these damn dogs looking for them like everywhere. I think it really was just the basic of the only thing that the child asked for, a dying child in a post-apocalyptic world. A dying child is hard anyway. Put it in a post-apocalyptic world with no hospitals, nothing you can do. That child asks you for a teddy bear. Well, next thing you know, there's a posse out
Well,
there
what a
for a
rude
damn teddy bear.
child.
No, God, JC. Now don't do that to me. No, I'm gonna put you in. I'm
How
gonna put you
rude.
in
You're
that
not the
box.
only one dying around here, kid.
Okay, but anyway, so for me it was all like, okay, so the bear's a little soft.
I'm heartless.
Yeah, I got a little tear in my eye. There's like harps going off and angels and stuff. I get it. Okay. I'm a little sappy that way. But for me, it was that gut wrenching, just basic wanting to give comfort to a child. And if it was a teddy bear, it was a teddy bear. And that actually carried through to me at the end, where everyone, like, no matter who I talk to, they're like, there's no way that ending would be that way. There's no way. That was one tough chick. There's no way. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
If you put that dying child in there, and then the mission, and all you got to do is bring a teddy bear, and you're just looking for comfort. And here we are in a post-apocalyptic, cold-ass world where you're just dealing with metal technology that wants to kill you. You can't reason with it. You can't walk it out of it.
I don't even think you could hide behind like a metal door. That thing would rip it off, you know?
It's relentless, and it doesn't have thought, feeling, intelligence. It is just relentless, and it keeps coming. It takes all the thought, the feeling out, and everything is now put into this relationship with this child and the people around you. She just watched everybody that was on the mission with her die. She just went to save herself into a house and walked in. I mean, that scene when she goes into that house and just feels the quietness, the eeriness, the emptiness.
Yes.
That in a house that used to be full of life. They played, the cinematography was so gorgeous. I can't tell you enough. Like, I really felt it. She stopped dead in the middle of the living room. Her face went cold, and she's like, what is going to hit me next? What am I going to find? Where is that damn dog? Like, oh my God. Like, and you could see it on, she's such a good actress. It was filmed so well. The director right on point. It was, you felt it, and that's what I mean. It's all about the comfort, JC. I don't agree with the
well, always createful agrees with you too. So I guess we're not best friends anymore, but that's okay.
That's okay. You could on this one. I could be the sap and the emotional fool, and
you guys are besties now. I get it. I'm out.
You get to be the intellectual one and the scientific, and the, you know, you get to do all that, and I'll be the sap.
I thought I pieced together an Easter egg all by myself because I normally don't.
You may have. You may have.
I don't think if the creator said that's not the reason, then he's either lying or I got it wrong, and I just can't
but you know
wrong. What? So he's lying.
Yeah, but Charlie's not perfect. Look what he did to us last episode.
That is true.
This is true. Like, he's fallen a little bit from grace. He's not perfect. He's only human, like the rest of us. But way that was filmed,
is that the biggest plot twist of all? Is Charlie Brooker a freaking robot?
JC, you didn't warn me you were wearing your tinfoil hat.
He created 2020. That's it. He's responsible for all of 2020. He's a robot. He did it. It's all
okay. Oh, this is the Easter egg, people, right here on this show.
Life is the Easter egg. But no, Always Createful says that I think by using a simple teddy bear, it showed the compassion and human strength by lengths she was willing to go to comfort somebody else. And
exactly.
It also
to give yourself comfort in being able to do anything for that child, anything, because of the desperation of a post-apocalyptic world. And I get that. I agree with you always. Thank you. I don't feel like such a sap now, although I know I am. I'm an emotional boohoo about this whole thing.
I guess I'm just being too rational. I don't know what I am, because I feel like if you're risking your life to go get a teddy bear, like, I get it for the episode and the symbolism and everything like that, and what it stands for. I got it. But I could do so much more for a kid by not dying for a teddy bear. Now you've just left the kid. Does the kid have anybody else to help take care of them? Now they're out by themselves.
Oh, wait a minute. But what else do you got to do in a post-apocalyptic world? Tell me.
Hug the child while you both are dying at the same time, instead of leaving them by themselves because you went to go fetch a teddy bear.
And that is common sense. Yes, somebody should be hugging the child, and I'm sure somebody is there. But then what about all the other ones that need to do something? That's why they're out there trying to get Nikki, tell your husband, don't break my heart with that. I love Tesla. Oh, he must have seen my Twitter. No, Tesla doesn't make robot dogs. Don't tell me that. Oh my God, nightmares I'm gonna have. Anyway, about the comments. There are plenty of comments here, JC. And I think people are going to agree with you more than you think, because there is more going on in this episode than just a sappy
I'm right, so they have to. No, just
Why
would they not?
You're gonna make me wet myself. You keep that up.
You're welcome.
No, thank you. I needed that. I needed a good belly laugh today. It was good.
Oh, all wow. Right, what is one of the songs? Oh my gosh,
wait,
I cannot.
I want to get here. This
yes,
one,
yes,
the
go.
cinematography was very Hitchcockian and Kafka-esque. You're right. Or that's it. Me and Kafka. You can't see it, but I've got my fingers.
I don't know who that the second person is.
Oh, girl. Oh,
I know who Hitchcock is, but
we're gonna talk. We're gonna do Kafka in your book club. You'll see.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So that was that one, and then Nikki said it reminded her of The Quiet Place. That also had that on your edge of your seat the whole time, like that you anticipation, like your nerves were on end. You knew something was happening every single second.
Because what really tip the robots off? Was it sound? Was it their heartbeat? Like, how did they find them? Because they were trying to be quiet, but what did that matter ultimately? Because it's like they could do their little laser whatever vision,
that was the technology there, that scanning technology. Yes. It was either looking for heat or, like you said, some kind of organic movement like blood or a heartbeat, but it was definitely like some type of scan, and it was scanning everything, and they only focused on living things. And let me tell you, I didn't see a rabbit, a squirrel, a bird.
That's
nothing.
True.
So like it had to be something organic in the living body itself. I didn't look into that part of the technology, because honestly, in regards to this episode, there wasn't a lot of research I could do. Nobody wanted to talk about this episode besides Charlie, who lied to JC.
He did. He's such a jerk.
And there was like two other, I went to Wikipedia and they don't explain the technology either. So it was hard to get detailed information, even from way back then. Maybe if I had done it like when the episode first came out, there'd be more, but not right now.
Perhaps.
Nikki said, raise your hand if you jumped and screamed in the first 60 seconds in the warehouse. I absolutely did. It really had me going. They didn't talk, but they were creepy. Exactly. It reminded me very similar to Fahrenheit 451. I agree. There are definitely elements there. Very, very. Here's a little humor for her. Metal dogs trying to hump your leg would probably hurt. Yeah, I can't argue with that, John.
It'd be one heck of a stiffy, wouldn't it?
Oh, that's a Saturday night comment for sure. Okay. And then before, when I said I don't know how the other dogs found the dog, Nikki is right, JC. Remember, it's that tracking device. So the one dog sends a tracking device, but that tracking device emanates to all of them everywhere.
To all the
so
dogs,
it's not a singular. So thank you, Nikki, for that, because let's see. I'm trying. I let so many of them pass by. I'm just trying to. I also thought it was like something important, like food, Nikki, or medical supplies. I'm with you. Like I really thought it was supplies. The teddy bear thing at the end broke. It crushed me. I'm such a softie about this kind of stuff. It was a little disturbing for me.
I definitely thought it was medicine. I think someone said that earlier. I thought they were getting medicine.
Yep, and that's what the comment I just put up from Nikki, that she thought it was medicine or medicine supplies. Yep. Always says, I think by using a simple teddy bear, it showed the compassion and you read this, and the human strength by lengths she was willing to go to comfort someone. And that was what I latched onto, that it was a strong statement on the hopelessness. Like when that was gone, gone, that was
definitely showed
too much.
All hope is gone. Right.
Mm-hmm. Sound waves. Remember when he stabbed out the speakers in the Range Rover to find the woman? That's right. Remember? Yeah. That, so it must be sonar. It must be like, that scanning must have something to do with that. And here's a good question always. What made the dogs go rogue? I get that they were there for security, but they killed all the pigs. What were the pigs trying to steal? Exactly. Remember they were talking about they went through this field. Remember when there used to be all these pigs here and everything? And that comment they made before we met the dog,
Oh, I didn't
they
catch
said,
that.
they said the dogs killed everything. And I was like, what kind of, I was expecting a pack of wild beasts,
Right.
you know, yeah, or something like that. Not this. This was actually scarier. Absolutely scarier.
Yes, because you can kill an animal, right? Obviously, you can't. Well, I guess she technically killed that one robot, but there was 50 more. Plus, it kind of self-destructed when she finally did make it where it wasn't operational anymore. It shot out
All of
a
the
couple hundred of those, you know, GPS shrapnels. So it was like,
it was
shit.
definitely that dog was a bitch. That dog was a bitch, man. That dog went out.
Yeah.
That dog went out on a mission. But that's the thing. Like if it was a real pack of animals or a human adversary, you could reason with it in some way. You can entice, you could bribe. Like they're gonna need things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even a dog needs food, water, distraction, something.
Right.
This robot, no, you have nothing to relate to with this thing at all.
Nope.
You know, it doesn't need anything from you, and it just wants you gone. Like
And
that
it
had to be.
obviously, even if it powers down, it can self-charge, or I don't know if it was charging by the sun or what, but even though it lost power for that short amount of time, it eventually was able to get power from somewhere itself or otherwise and went
just
for the hunt again.
It could have recharged with the sun or whatever. That was kind of clever how she did that. But it was
Yes.
also a little far-fetched that she could time it that way to she actually knew how many seconds. But then again, we don't know how long they've been exposed to these things, learning everything. If you get a group of people together in survival mode, they may have been, you know, learning little bits here and there and tracking, and we're just seeing the end result at the end. Because again, Charlie really didn't give us a lot of details. He left it up to our brains to kind of fill in all of the blanks and to extrapolate on what he showed us. But in this one, I agree with him. It worked. It worked gangbusters. The less information we had, the more.
It did work better for this episode than 15 Million Merits, I think.
Yeah,
like we kind of accepted this more. Again, you kind of you understood. You didn't need a lot to understand what was going on. You didn't need a lot of background. Like, got it. Rogue freaking robots took over the world. Whereas like 15 Million Merits, it was kind of like, well, why did all these people agree? Why did they what is the word, like fall in line with the protocol? Whereas robots killing people, you're gonna quickly do what everyone, or do what they are trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? You don't have a choice. Whereas it seemed like in 15 Million Merits, they could have argued with the way that society was. Like there was too many questions leading up to what made them go on bicycles and power everything and earn merits. And nope, you just kind of got it with the dog robots. Got it. Kill the dog robots. Got it.
And that was more the human element. There was too many people involved with there and too much motivation we were missing.
Yeah,
and you know, in here we had the motivation immediately, survival. We had the motivation of the people right off the bat. I mean, God, they blew up. I mean, he proved it when they blew their heads off within the first 60 seconds. Like, we're like, okay, survival, we get it. Like, they're gonna be chased.
Off.
Like, they gotta live. That's it. And look, it's a non-human enemy. It is so we don't get to assign any type of motivation. We don't get to assign emotional drama or purpose or reason. They just are on a mission. This is what they're trained to do. This is it. It's like 1, 2, 3. This is all they know. This is all they do. None of that other stuff comes in. So it was like in a box for us. We didn't have to go anywhere else with it, except for what they made us feel. They really made us feel this. Her running, her panting, her even walking up the stairs in that house or bunker, whatever they call
Right.
it, the compound, when she's taking her stairs, and you could see her physically trembling and breathing, and her eyes are darting back and forth. What am I going to see when I get up here? What am I going to face? Like, what, like this is the creepiest like feeling. And I'm
Right.
just
Are there going to be other people in here that
exactly
are either, I think there's fear and there being people there that were alive or dead, because if they
right.
were alive, then we're going to have to fight each other for resources, right? Maybe they don't want me
Exactly.
in here. Maybe they're going to kill me, or maybe they're
Hmm.
going to use me as sacrifice and be like, here, robot dogs, get
Hmm.
this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then there's fear and obviously seeing that person who had been dead for quite some time in the
Yeah.
bed and the
Like
smell and the
that
yeah,
was realistic too. They played that realistic. That was an actual reaction that anybody would have had. Yeah, had
absolutely.
they saw that. Always Grateful said, and why did the dogs have all the access codes? Who gave them the access code? Was it the government or was it Killer Bees guys? What if he's part of this? You don't more nightmares always. Oh my God. I didn't even think of
Absolutely.
that. I think that is part of the technology where they could just crack everything, where all the systems were united, because how else would they be like able to just survive and roam and they're still activated? I think it was part of whatever happened to make this post apocalyptic was that we became so, all right, here we go with the tinfoil hat.
I've got mine on. You're good.
I'm borrowing yours for right now. I do believe that it is because they were trying to portray that technology had taken over so much and they didn't need us. They didn't care. They're just all operating on their own issues. And they actually, all of this could be interconnected. So everything that we depend on, our cell phones, the internet, our access codes to our house, opening refrigerator doors,
Yes.
all kinds of steel doors, it's all connected somehow, and it all became connected, and that's what caused the
Right.
apocalypse, because that's what happened, at least in my mind,
Because we
because
have
that's how
things
it.
in our
Yeah.
houses now that can order our
Mhm.
food, remember what groceries we buy. We can
Yeah.
order groceries from our refrigerators. We can, you know, um, drive our cars with electricity. We can
Mhm.
everything, go to school
Right.
on computers,
Mhm.
unlock our doors electronically. Yeah.
Yep. But I do hope
It's
that the B guy had nothing to do with this, because
Lord.
that's another, if a person had more to do with this, then I'm really upset now. But the hopelessness was just, I mean, the B guy got me mad, but he made his point, and I knew he was coming from a place of trauma, and how he dealt with it, and he dealt with it wrong, and but as a human, not everybody does everything the right way every time, so you could
Right.
kind of
And you have
understand
some
it.
control over a human, somebody like you said before, who has emotions. You can, and it's one person. And if a person dies, then it's over. With the
Mhm.
robots, it's not
Mhm.
over. There's not a
No.
way to control them.
No, it's not. They're still there. We're gonna be all gone, and they're still gonna be doing whatever. I don't know. I mean, I doubt that the 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 robot dog is gonna have the hopelessness that the people had in this episode, or that I had watching this episode, because it doesn't feel. It's gonna just keep on going, even when it has nobody to kill. Like, what happens? I don't read any books, and even in sci-fi, about depressed robots that could not complete their mission. Like, they just keep trying, and they don't even know they're failing. So
Or
I
care.
or care, right? They have no care.
They don't
Um,
get tired. They don't get defeated.
they don't. Nikki said her husband said the bears must have had something hidden inside, like meds, because the first dog was right behind that box, and he's going off a drug smuggler theory. Well, could be, but it takes all kinds of tinfoil hats. Like, there are all kinds of series. For me, it was just basic raw emotion, even down to the end, to where,
Yeah, the end scene
yeah,
was,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't want to go to the end yet. I can't go to the end
So I
yet.
saw Always Createful's question about the ending, and that's funny because in this interview with Entertainment Weekly, Brooker kind of answers this question, but he doesn't. Um, you're not really asking a question, but he mentions this scene, but doesn't mention that it's the ending. So the person, the interviewer asked, you never filled in any questions such as how did the robots take over? Is anyone controlling them? Did you figure that out? And is there any backstory you can share? He says, we sort of deliberately decided not to flesh out a lot of backstory. Originally, in my first draft, we also showed a human operator operating the dog robot from across the ocean at his house. There was a bit I liked where he leaves the control unit where the robot is watching her while she's up the tree, and he goes and gives his kid a bath. That would be disturbing. But it felt a bit weird and too on the nose. I don't know what he means by that. Are there people controlling dog robots killing people and I don't know about that? But anyway, he goes on to say we deliberately pared it back and did a very simple story. So I didn't know that was supposed to be or an alternative ending. He just said it was a scene that they got rid of. So interesting. Thank you. Always grateful.
It is very interesting. But it also goes back to where he didn't want to make that part of the story. He was concentrating more on the desolation and the helplessness, in my opinion. Which was through everything. Like he wanted to, if he gave us too much information, we would be focusing on the how and the what instead of feeling. And I'm just going to stand my ground. There was just emotional rawness. Like this made me feel like uncomfortable from the start. I was uncomfortable with this episode. It got to like it made me feel. It made me feel what she was going through, the desperation, the hopeless, all of it. So for the first time, I didn't care how they got there. The fact that they were there was more important than all of the other stuff. And that usually doesn't happen with me with an episode. That's why I keep praising the cinematography, because that helped get me there. That helped do that to me. The whole feel of it worked so well together. And the actress, just that one-on-one, she's so good. She's
right. You were mentioning earlier, she basically carried the whole episode, and I didn't think about that. But she did,
She was the episode. All her supporting actors got their head blown off in the first 2 minutes of the first 10 minutes. They were all gone, and everybody else she ran into was gone, except for the dogs. It was just her and the dogs, and
I know.
And she carried it, and she did really, really well. Now there are things we don't agree with. Like I talked to a few people, and the ending can be, I don't want to actually go to the ending yet. But the ending can be, it can be challenged. Let's just say that,
What do you mean, that people can disagree, or that? What do you mean by challenged?
What it meant, how, if it was possible, if that would have been the most likely outcome, all of it, all of it could be challenged. And I've heard the challenges, and I can't disagree with them, although personally for me, I do disagree with them, but I can see their valid points all the way through, which I'll bring to you. If you're not the one who actually brings those up, I'll bring their points up too. Nikki says, oh yeah, supposedly a couple of Teslas have run into parked police cars. It could be a glitch or, that don't start. Oh, okay. All right. Nope.
Just police cars?
Yeah. I don't know, but every time I see Tesla's name, I go off on a tangent. I get distracted. You can't do that to me, people. If you go too heavy into tinfoil hat theories, you'll have to start directing people to your PayPal every 10 minutes. Thank you, John. I don't use my PayPal on my channel, but I get your point. Very, very well. I always says that they thought they saw it on Reddit. I do see that Black Mirror Reddit. We do get a lot of information there.
What did they see on Reddit?
I do believe that they were talking
alternative ending.
Did you read about the alternate ending? Yeah. Did you read about that, JC? Because I didn't. Did you?
Yes, in that interview, but I didn't realize it was an ending. He didn't clarify. He just said, in the original episode, they had a portion where there was a human operating the control unit.
That is the part that they're saying. Is that what they're referring to always?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. So if that's what they're referring to, then yeah, we don't see that, but we thought it was part of the episode, just telling us the backstory, like in the beginning. But John's creating membership emojis in the chat.
Tinfoil hats.
Yeah. And apparently evil Chucky dolls riding robot dogs.
Oh Lord. That would be terrifying.
That would be terrifying. I don't even. Chucky scares me. That's just. That's not my. Yeah, that is. But what? All right, let's lead up to this ending because we're almost getting towards the hour. But this is the hard
So
part.
she's covered in all the GPS tracking shrapnel.
Mm-hmm. Well, she'd already dug out the one, right? She gets enough time. She gets to the compound. She finds a shotgun. She finds the
ammunition.
She loads up. She does
and she has to get the gun from the disgusting, long, decomposed body and take it out of the dead person's hands. Mm-hmm. So that was really hard and emotional. So even getting these things leading up to it was tasks in and of themselves.
Right. It was like one right after the other, very distressing, which is to go through. And you can feel it. You can hear it in her breathing. You can see it in her movements. She's definitely at like over the top with anxiety and just in that fight or flight. Like she's in survival mode times 10,000.
And don't you agree? Any one thing that she went through in the whole episode, any one traumatic thing probably would have been enough to do anybody over. You know what I mean? Like, she went through so much.
Yes and no. When you are going through things like that, when it happens repeatedly, there's something happens to your body. And people that are in fights or you talk to our veterans, people that have been in the army and the services, you get to that point where you are in that environment and you are energized, and you get a little indefensible. You get like, you can keep doing it. You can keep going forward. You haven't absorbed it all yet. And
you kind of go on like autopilot. You just kind of get through and aren't really thinking about what you're going through. You're just going through the motions, so to speak.
It's kind of like what your body does when you break a bone. Okay, you get that first thing of pain that you broke it, but the body will automatically, unless you move it, will keep sending it because it's not doing it. It wants you to do something about it, so it stops sending that excruciating pain symbol to your head. Okay. But of course you move it around, you're going to feel it, right? Or in an emergency, like a car crash, you get all banged up in a car, you get out, but you get everybody out of the car and then you collapse on the side of the road, like, because you have a broken leg or a collarbone or something. Like, people can do incredible things under stress because of the way our body reacts to those stress
like our
hormones.
Adrenaline.
Right. Adrenaline is a known lifesaver. It just is. It's what we pump into hearts immediately when they stop to get them to start again. It's what our body does to get us through all types of dangerous and scary situations. It's that adrenaline that just gets us through, just makes us be able to get through. Some people can harness it really well. Obviously, Maxine Peake did a great job as Bella, the character, was definitely fed off her adrenaline. She's a badass for sure. But you know what? Who wouldn't be a badass if you're gonna die? Like, I think I could be a badass if the dog was coming for me. I think I would have. I'm definitely not gonna lay there and go, hey, whatever. Right. I'm definitely gonna fight and fight and fight. But I do understand the other end of it too at the ending, and some people don't, but I kind of do because of how the whole episode affected me.
Probably felt like she was drowning. Like Always Grateful said earlier, you've said, I've said. I think the one word that keeps coming up over and over for this episode is hopelessness. Like, she didn't just give up the first time or the second time or the third time or the 80th time. You know what I mean? Because who knows what happened before all of this.
Right.
She kept persevering, but I think there comes a moment in something where there's so many robots coming, so many dogs, so many of the shrapnel tracking devices. Like, you got to know, when to fold them. It's just, but seriously, like, there's no way out of this. So unfortunately, she wanted control of the way out of this.
Yeah, I could see that point. Yes and no. Like, yeah, I do.
What do you mean always grateful? I'm sorry to interrupt. They say, going back to the dead body with the gun, they said that the part where she cleaned her hands after touching the body, so symbolic.
respect for the dead and to just wash away the ugliness of the whole situation. You didn't get that part, huh? It was just like,
No.
it was very emotional. Yeah, that she actually has the fortitude to think that way.
I would just think germs. I guess I didn't think that deep. Maybe I'm a heartless person. I feel like with us talking, I just feel like a
I don't know.
heartless, unemotional person.
I
thought I was a
don't
kind
think
person.
I don't
guess
think you
not.
are. I think it's just how you're looking at it's because of the dogs. The dogs are doing it to you, I'm sure.
I guess.
I had this up before that Nikki was very proud of her during the gun scene because she was worried, as I was too. There was only 2 shots, like, right? 2 shell casings for the
Yes.
shotgun. And we know this thing was so tenacious. It just kept coming. I was like, what are you going to shoot that's going to make a difference? Like, where are you going to take it out? Like, what are you going to do? Like, how do you know what to do with it? You know?
And to wash away her own sins and impurities.
And impurity.
Now
There you
I
go.
feel like I get it. That's why we love you, Always Grateful.
Right. It was just so it was emotional that she had the she had the forthwith to do that. Like, she had the ability to just step away for that second and do something like that. Which is why she was the one on this mission to get the teddy bear for the dying child. Do you see it now, JC?
Right. I do, because she wasn't me.
Now every time I say something sappy, you're going to think of, like, no, I'm not always sappy. I'm only sappy about killer robot dogs and hopelessness in black and white film. Apparently, that's filmed like a foreign film. What can I say?
I guess I think it was the black and white that brought it out of you.
It might have been, because it definitely wasn't like 300, but that's something else. I'll talk to you about that later. But anyway, but the thing with the emotional part towards that end, after she does that, she shoots it, right? And she's really doing some damage, and that's got to feel good. You can see it on her, but she's so traumatized at this point. She's just shooting at it. She thinks you do good, and then, like you said, the thing explodes in its death rolls or whatever. I don't know. Can non-living things die? She does, and its last effort was, here's all the trackers, like, boom, in your face.
Yep.
So she's covered with them
all over her body. And like you said earlier in the episode, she had one from the warehouse, right? Where that guy, she had one stuck in her because it was just kind of like a little offshoot from the robot was aiming for the first guy. So she got a little, one, right? In her cheek or something. And she was able to dig that out. And but yeah, to think of having to dig maybe at least 20-30 of them.
And look how long it took her to get that one out. And then here she knows enough about them that she knows what those devices mean. They are the way that they're all coming, and not just one. She knows there's going to be more than one. And so it was
even if she took the time to dig all of them out, they're probably already alerted at that point. So let's just say she went through getting all of them out, which I'm going to say would at least take an hour or 2. They're probably already there coming to attack her at that point.
Yeah, but on the other side, and this was a valid point brought up by somebody else, that here she is inside a compound. She could barricade herself in. We've seen it before. She could give herself enough time to get rid of all those tracking devices.
But you don't think those robots would freaking peel back like even a metal door or something in a hot second? I feel like...
But here's the thing. They're going to lose power, right? So, all right, here's my theory. I was trying to figure out. Yeah, okay, so here's the theory. What if when they power down, when they lose power like that, they don't actually have the memory. They don't have the memory of the last thing that they did. Like, they need to access that tracker to figure out what the hell's going on.
That is true.
If it acts like a regular computer and it doesn't have enough memory on where the hell it's been the last time and it's starting all over again, then if she was able to wait them out long enough to get rid of all of the trackers while they're powering down, they're going to forget she's in that barricaded room eventually, and she's going to be able to get out eventually when they get bored or they go somewhere else or they're looking for other things. That's a theory.
Because they did that with the tree, right? Because the first thing, you're right, the first thing when it woke up, so to speak, it looked right back
it
up
had
the
to
tree.
scan It did look up the tree, and it scanned and scanned and scanned. Okay, so it did not get a signal, so it moved on. So if she's in the bathroom and she gets rid of the trackers, say flushes them down the toilet, okay, and she got all of the trackers out, and there are a lot, because there's other issues about that I am thinking of, but not this person. They just think she sort of fought. That it was all this episode, 40, like, what is it, 38 minutes, say, besides the last 3 minutes of the episode. This woman fought tooth and nail.
Yes.
In survivor mode. Why would she just give up in a minute like that just because she got the trackers in her? And I kind of understand what they're saying, but then I'm looking at the amount of trackers. I'm looking at the whole emotional part of it, that, oh my God, like now there's going to be so many of them, and I fought this one all day, and I'm looking at where they are, how many there are. Maybe it was just
she doesn't have any bullets left. I don't even know if she has any candy left to throw at him. You know what I mean?
Right. And
I know there's other stuff in the house, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. But let's add that other conversation she had in with whoever is on the other end of that walkie-talkie. She literally told them, I've been tracked. I cut it out, but I know it's still only time. So she's thinking that even when you cut those trackers out, I mean, she said those words, right? She said, I know that's only a matter of time. And this was after she got the tracker out. So if she's thinking that there is another way, that they're still going to find her because it leaves some kind of essence or whatever, maybe weaker, she's thinking she's already gone. She told them to tell her family. She apologized for not completing the mission. She already, at that moment she had the walkie-talkie conversation, she's already taken 5 steps back from survival, and that hopelessness has already enveloped her, and so like that adrenaline isn't working the way it was anymore, because just as much as adrenaline works, the hopelessness, those enzymes and those hormones that get you are just as strong. So now the battle's going on,
Yeah, because adrenaline only lasts so long too. It's short term. It's not. You can't survive off of that for a long period of time. So eventually your body's going to have some other source to make it function. And adrenaline can also break down your body if you've had too much of it. So
it can
I think
physically exhaust you.
Right.
Physically exhaust you. The down from that is physically exhausting. Nikki says, I thought that robot was going to pop back up though after the last shot. No, shot on my hand. You know what? Me too. Like, I can't believe it was down. Like, but then when it did its last, hurrah on her, and we're getting like, she's going back into the house, I kind of like believe maybe it was gone. But really, right up until the end when the credits rolled, I thought I was going to see it again, Nick. I really did. I thought I was going to see that dog again. Yeah. It was going to peek around a corner or something, like something. It was going to be something. That's what was disappointing to me about the ending, the way it just like flattened me out like completely. This is
so you
this
can
point
see why she made the decision that she did in the end to take her own life.
I don't even think it was a decision at that point.
No.
Let me explain. Okay. Nikki says she would have had to kill herself to remove all those tracking devices. The ones right on her carotid artery. Plus, there were so many. And that's the thing. I know just enough that where that left, that one that
think about that at all.
Where they focused us on that one in her neck. She knew she's probably, now granted, she may not have died, but she knew there was a good possibility she's going to bleed to death anyway. And so when she's looking in the mirror, I don't think she's deciding to kill herself. I think she has resigned to the fact that she's already dead, that she's looking at a dead person in the mirror. And then at that point, she's not actually completely giving up. She's accepting an inevitability and taking a little bit more control over, is the dog's going to do it, or am I just going to let it happen? Because we don't know that she they don't let us see that. You know what I mean?
Right.
We get the intention. Okay.
Right. We see her starting to put the knife towards her neck and kind of move her arm, but we don't actually see the full thing.
Exactly. So when you add all of that to it, I can understand why she did it, because I was with this other person to the point where, God, she was such a fighter. Why would she do that? And then I'm like, the hopelessness, like, just think, I'm not even the one fighting. And how do I feel right now?
Yeah.
Like about this whole thing. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, just, it's got to stop. This is like, it's just getting me every
You got to
moment
get a
of this.
break.
Yeah.
She's
like
getting no breaks. None.
Right. No breaks. We got no breaks in the suspense and in the edginess of it and the just ripping at us constantly with the hopelessness. We got no breaks. She got no breaks. I kind of understood when she's looking in the mirror, that look. Like, I just, to me, it just meant she was not deciding to do anything. She was accepting an inevitability. Like, it was going to happen. She
feel
just
like I
said,
agree.
yeah, she said, okay, I'm done. So like, I get why they're upset she didn't fight till the end, but I'm with her. Like, at that point, I am a fighter, and I can understand her willingness to her wanting to take control at that
And it's
moment,
still
and here it is. If she does it herself, those damn dogs don't win, do they?
exactly. That's
They don't
exactly
get
what
to
I was going to say.
they don't get to complete their mission.
Yep.
And then it was like a big fuck you to it was a big fuck you to the robots. and I would have probably wanted something like that, because now she's thinking the boy is gone. The boy, she can't give him comfort. He's gone. She's never going to see the people back at the compound. She is alone. She can't get comfort. The boy
She's
can't get
alone. She
comfort.
failed the mission, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah,
We've got failure, hopelessness, despair. We got the inevitability. Like, this thing is just gonna keep coming. That's
there's
just a
no
fact.
animals in the world. There's nothing.
Nothing. It's fucking nothing. Yeah,
right.
It just reminded me of, like, there's a clip that plays in my head whenever I think of that. But sorry about that, Nikki. The Jersey always comes out. I can't help it. And except for the odd day when everybody's accusing me of living in another country and all that other stuff. I don't know where they get this stuff. Do they not actually hear me, JC?
They have different hats. Theirs aren't tinfoil. They're made of something else, and we haven't figured it out yet.
I guess. I don't know. Red Bull gives you wings. But you guys crack me up. At least you're making me feel better, because this is hard to talk about. This definitely Red Bull. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was, again, because sorry to keep saying the same word over and over again, but it was hopeless. And you can kind of relate to it, even though not literally, times in everyone's life where you feel like, seriously, give me a break. Like, one thing after another, one devastating thing after another. Hell, if we can't even think of it personally, we can all think of it worldly in the year of 2020, like one hopeless thing after the other. So it's easy to feel those emotions with this episode, because, and I think that's what makes it hard to talk about, because sometimes, even if you aren't going through something, I think if you can let your mind go too far and think of all the evil in the world, and you can just start to be overwhelmed with do we really have control of our lives? Do we really, is there really hope out there? Is there, so I think we can all relate to this in some ways.
Yeah, it is. And it is in our nature to actually feel that we have total control, or to try to have total control of it. It's in my nature. And I think I'm quite human and normal. So despise, contrary to public opinion. I actually feel that we all have that fight for control and to make a difference somehow in our lives and other people's lives and the surrounding world around us. It is what we do. That's how I see it. But in this instance, this other point was made to me, and I have to give it credit because it makes perfect sense. We have to remember that that dog is an external conflict, not an internal conflict. Like, I keep bringing you back to the hopelessness and the failure. That's all internal, right? That's how she feels, okay? That dog is an external enemy on the outside.
True.
I have to give this person, a nod to that theory, that in that case, because it was an external enemy, it was on the outside. It's not emotional. It is fight or flight, life or death. her instinct for to fight should have been more intact for it, and that's why they had an issue with the way the series, the way the episode ended, because they don't believe
like
that that's what she
ultimately
would
we
have
all
done.
have our own control over our own self and our own lives, and
but because
it's
it
all
was
in
an
our head, so to
external.
speak. Is that kind of where they were going?
No, they're saying it's not in your head. It wasn't about how she felt. It wasn't in her head. That's an external. It's out of your body. It's out of your thought that way. That was something on the outside attacking you. And our instinct as humans would be to fight it no matter what.
Gotcha.
Because we're not fighting ourselves or how we feel or where we want. It was an external on the outside element. And that is when fight or flight is the strongest. When it's not part of it, you can't do fight or flight on the inside of you. You know what I mean?
True. You see what
Puddle
says?
Is he correcting me?
No. Puddle says the dogs are intent on killing her. Her killing herself gives the dogs exactly what they want, regardless of the method that they that achieved the goal. Sorry.
Exactly. And that's exactly the point that the person was telling me about the external part of it. Exactly that does not believe that she would give in that way and give them what they wanted. Give it,
right.
You know, she wasn't gonna lay down that way. And I think she didn't lay down that way because she didn't let them kill her. She accepted in something that was going to happen no matter what. She's looking at the reality of bleeding to death, you know, fighting till the end. Now there's going to be more of them, and she didn't want to give them the to complete the mission. So it's like a tit for tat. It could be either, of course. I mean, she should not want them to be able to kill her, and she would want
both understandings make sense, right? This is, I don't feel like this is, I feel like both are right. I think that's maybe what you're trying to say. You can correct me if I'm wrong too. Like both of them are correct. This isn't like a situation where we are just disagreeing. Both points are valid. Both make sense. Both are right.
Right. They are. And I agree with you, Puddle. I agree that that's definitely just kind of leaves you guessing at the end, like you're not satisfied, right? We're not satisfied with the ending. I wasn't, even as emotional. I was pleased to be entertained the way I was. I was pleased to be affected, because if I spend time watching something, reading something, hearing something, I want to get affected this way. Not always emotionally and hopelessness, but in some way, physically, emotionally. Like I want to learn something. I want to feel something. I want to be involved with it at the end of it. And I was, but the ending, she fought so hard. I kind of get why people just didn't want to see her go out that way. I don't want to see her go out that way. And when they tipped over that box and it was full of teddy bears, they killed me. They freaking killed me, because all I could think about was the boy that's not getting the comfort, the woman that just died in the bathroom for a box of damn stuffed teddy bears, and that was it for me. I was like,
exactly. I was like, it didn't make me emotional.
Charlie,
I got more mad at the kid.
Yeah, you got mad at the kid. I got mad at Charlie. I was like, Charlie, you did it to me again. God, did you? Charlie, I mean, I told you I wanted to be drawn into this, but did you have to make it hurt so bad? This hurt.
Well, again, hey, you got the ending that you wanted. You got the what you wanted out of it. Wasn't the way that you wanted. Kind of like the episode, but mission achieved.
You were altered. Good point. That's it. I was altered, and I was pleased. I'm, in the long run, I'm pleased about that, because he does what he does. Good point. Robots don't have an ego, so they don't care how the ends are achieved. That's right.
And unfortunately, someone was pointing out that you aren't human, and you are a bear.
Oh, a bear.
So...
Oh, well, thanks, John. Oh, you're right. Color me confused. The mission is completed either way. I can't argue with you that. I mean, if she's dead, yeah, they win no matter what. She's dead.
Adds to the hopelessness, doesn't it?
It does add to the hopelessness of it.
The good guys can't win. Hell, the guys can't even win. The robots win. Blah.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, don't be confused. The mission is complete. I agree that. It's just how. For some reason, she just thought it would be better if she did it herself. For her, it was control. I believe it was control. And people can disagree with me. I don't think she actually she felt the hopelessness, but it was more the inevitableness of what was going to happen. Like when she saw that tracker in her jugular, we're not,
I think it was ultimately her having control of her
yeah,
outcome.
Right. So in what I'm trying to say is, I know people are disappointed she didn't fight. My point is, I consider what she did fighting.
A fight. Yeah.
I consider that a fight. I'm not happy she did it. I wish she did the other. I wish she would have went out like the badass she showed us, was doing whatever she could. I probably would have been more satisfied and would have felt a little less like, at the end.
I don't think it would have been a good Black Mirror episode, though.
True, because this is what he does to us, isn't it? This is definitely what he does to us. He makes me argue with everybody back and forth.
Makes you think.
And it's not an argument. It's actually a discussion. I don't mean
it's thought-provoking, for sure.
It is. It makes us all try to look at it a little bit differently, and I absolutely love it. That's what I love about this series. I can't speak enough about how much I love it.
Philosophy show. And I don't know if anybody, I'm just realizing, like, if you can hear snoring at all, my dog is sitting beside me. I just realized.
Mine too.
She's starting to snore.
Murphy is snoring up a storm right. It's so funny you said that.
That's how interesting our conversation is, huh?
Well, let's hope you don't have to take the stream down. Oh, that would be me again. Not even you. Oh, no. Okay, just admit it, ClaireSBear. You weren't satisfied because there wasn't garlic involved. You could be right. I have not had
Could be true.
I haven't had garlic in a day or two. I'm
gonna have to
take care of it. Oh my God, right? That's just too long.
You guys will have to tune in on next Saturday, I guess, to see if she's had garlic or not.
Is that the question of the week? Same time, same channel. Just tune in Saturday to find out if the bear got her garlic.
Exactly.
Oh God, we have strange lives, don't we? Okay, always creative. We do, but it's fun. Going with the alternate of a person controlling the dogs, what if this is a situation of human prey for sport, like the movie The Most Dangerous Game? Oh my God! Oh, twisted.
That'd be even sicker.
That's
more disturbing.
I would bet. I was reading a book where that was part of it.
Hopeful.
There's a Kuntz story. I have to remember which one it was.
Then there's. Sorry, there must be a delay. I don't mean to overtalk you.
No,
I feel like that would be more hopeful of an episode, because then there would be could be a possible ending to all the suffering. Take out the person and end it all. End all the chaos and killing and. But without that human, it leaves it more hopeless.
Yeah, and that's what I put in the description. For me, that was from the whole thing. The whole premise was hopelessness towards the end. Because that's probably why she didn't do the big fight we all wanted her to do at the end. Maybe she saw the black and white stills. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know. I had to be funny because I'm getting a little morbid here.
I know, right?
I know. It's just so intense. I did not, JC, when you first saw it, did you think, oh God, there's not going to be anything to talk about this episode? That actually went through my mind. So
many conspiracy things. As we normally have. It's because it's kind of straightforward, right? I mean, I feel like I can see maybe a little bit, but I feel like it's more of a stretch to sit there and go with the normal theme of feeling like technology is taking over our lives. Like, I get that you can kind of come to that conclusion with, at the end, the dogs are coming after her, so many, no matter what. But I feel like this was more straightforward and less symbolic. It was just like the world's ended and crazy robots have taken over and kill everybody,
Yeah, and it's just how technology can get out of control. Because again, Brooker always brings us there to how technology is in our lives so entrenched, and we have to be more careful. That is the message every single time. that you got to take more precautions.
And
like,
that's why
it's
we get
getting
on
out of
technology
control.
every week and talk about it.
And we do. That's why we're out here. No, where the irony that we're just such hypocrites, right? It's like, as long as I'm not building a robot or know anybody who is, or that I know, that I'm aware.
However, just like this, right? You and I don't know each other. Never met you, perhaps never will. Never seen your face. You've seen mine because it's on my channel, because I like to put my weird face on my channel. But you know what I'm saying? Just like the bees, they can be useful. They can be a positive thing for society if it's used correctly and in nice, not evil people's control.
This is true. They were controlled by an evil person while society was still here. But let's put those bees in a post-apocalyptic world. Nobody's controlling them, and they're still badass motherfuckers. Again. I am, because I'm telling you, it's the technology itself that does it. It doesn't not always need somebody to control it. If those bees were going to be doing what they do to people, they just needed somebody to tell them who. But if they were free, who knows if it would have just progressed off to, just attack people in general. I mean, I wouldn't want to see those bees in any world. In the one we have now, in the one from the past, in post-apocalyptic, those bees, because that bee crawling up the nose is like the worst thing I've seen in a long time.
Right into your brain.
Yeah, even worse than the gunshots in the beginning of Metalhead, because at least you knew that was possible and that was real. But this other thing warped me about that little robotic bee crawling up into your nose, into your brain. Like that, like, no.
It happened in your sleep. And thanks a lot, John. How do we know who we're talking to online is a real person and not advanced AI? Well, it's an advanced
this is true.
BEAR. So you
don't know this bear's got a heartbeat. This bear could be AI. I could be AI bear.
Well,
that's
as
why
long as you're not trying to kill me and we're just having thought-provoking conversation, I'm for it.
Really. Apparently, the only thing I'm trying to do is convince people I'm from other countries or things like that. Apparently, that's it, right? Maybe that's my robotic talent. Maybe everybody who hears my voice hears something different.
Yellowstone National Park, and you like to steal picnic baskets.
I do, and who doesn't love a good picnic? I'm down with that, as long as there's cheese, and you know what?
And garlic.
And garlic. They make a great Boston is a great garlic infused cheese. It's delicious. You gotta try it. It's like, oh, it is. It's soft and spreadable for crackers, and I will probably have that later, just so I get some garlic in. Not the way you mean, Nikki, but I'll get my garlic one way or another.
I feel like she's getting quotes. She's got to be getting quotes right now.
She does. She has to. You should see. You guys, you're so good at it, Nikki. You just bring a smile to my face. But
so what episode? I don't know. I know I've told you in another episode that I really want to cover. I think it's White Christmas, but I don't know if I'm going to be ready for next week or not. I might do that one. Or does anybody have any suggestions on the next episode we should cover? White Christmas is definitely one I'm going to cover.
Right. That's not one of the, like, I have ones, in my mind for later, that because, JC and I had little reserve words in a DM.
I'm like, I'm taking this one. You
can't this one. And I'm like, I want this one. You can't have. And why? I like some of them that I took. I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? Why? But hey, I like the challenge. But if anybody knows of one, or you want to get to us later in a DM, but
if not, then I probably will do White Christmas. It'll just push me to do. It's not like a super in-depth thing. I just see a comparison to a Twilight Zone episode. Now I think there's a plane going over our house.
You know what? Twilight Zone was another great series that I loved. I never missed any of those. Yes, I would watch the originals again.
The original.
Yeah, I would. But I do. The originals, black and white. Did you see the three? Okay. Did you see 300?
No, I have not.
You gotta check out 300, the cinematography. It is a bit bloody. It's a big war thing. Okay, it is, but just the way that they used color for emphasis in this and the graphics was amazing. Very good cinematography in that one also. Who knew? I was like, I did. If anyone is interested, wait a minute. Anyone is interested in stories involving advanced technology, consciousness, and blurring the lines between life and death, I highly suggest the first season of Altered Carbon. I started to watch that, John. I agree with you. Like, that is, I have to turn JC onto that after this. It is good.
How much more of that can I take, though?
I don't know, but once you got to go just take a peek at 300 so you know what Always Createful and I are talking about. The amazing cinematography.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of tidbits in there for you to, make you smile too. But we'll talk about it later. This isn't Saturday. So
gotcha. I was failing to connect at first because you were talking about how it was bloody, and I'm like, no, really, I don't think I'm a psychopath for real. No. I don't think blood will make me smile. But now I understand. But I'm following along now.
Oh, you're following on. Once you see it, just tell me if you have, just you and I'll have a discussion about thighs afterwards. You'll see. Nice. You'll see what I mean. Yeah, you'll see what I mean. But yeah.
Well, I think we covered everything for Metalhead.
Yeah, we are emotionally drained. Thank God there's not a dog around, because a robot dog. There's a snoring dog.
I know,
but there's
I have a snoring dog beside me.
I know.
You're not a robot, are you? I hope she's not a robot. I guess we'll know if we're still here next Saturday. We'll know if our dogs are.
Our dogs did a thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Sam Juniper is good in a little
That's
lighter.
on my list. I stole that one from her.
I'm not allowed.
She's not allowed to have that one. You want it? I'll give it to you if you want a light one. We could trade something else. You could have it.
I think I still want White Christmas. I'll go and see.
All right. If you don't have time and you want to do the lighter one, I'm going to be really gracious because you entertained me so much with your tinfoil hat today. And you gave me the first
Charlie Brooker is a liar.
Yeah, Charlie Brooker. I don't think I do. I think he's fantastic. But yeah, you're right. He's a liar. He's a liar. He's mean.
There's no way that Jack the kid and Jack the husband and the whole teddy bear and the conscious, there's no way. He's just lying. I know he's lying.
Yeah. I know he's like, I don't think so. Listen, if there was consciousness in that teddy bear, it would have been giving her trying to get into her head on ways to save herself. So
that is true.
It was a failure. The teddy bear failure. It's a teddy bear failure.
Teddy bear failure.
I know that's just gonna stick in my head now. Why do I say these things?
The bear has failed. Not really. Yeah. This was an awesome stream. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so much. Are you doing anything this week, JC, that you want to tell them anything? Don't you have your book club?
Tuesday is a book club for the House of the Seven Gables. It's not the whole book. It's just chapters 1-4, because one, that I want to give people time to read it, and also it holds me accountable, because if I sat there and did a book club on just a book, I would never read the entire thing. This is ways to break it up into little chunks. So
what time is that?
It's book Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're just going to have a discussion. I'm going to pull up some questions for the first 4 chapters.
Okay. And that's like 50 pages. If anybody wants to know, I counted them so I could tell you.
Oh, thank you.
Because I'm proactive that way. Also, I wanted to know what I had to read.
It helps to know.
I wanted to know how much, when to do the time. I want to do it fresh enough. But I'm looking forward to that because Nathaniel is a very good writer, and it's interesting, and you're going to like it.
It's a real house in Salem, Massachusetts. It's so cool.
Yeah, and so Wednesday after that, we'll do our first AITA. We're back to doing AITA once a week.
Oh, good.
It'll be 7 o'clock. I have the grumpy old dude.
Awesome. I think he was in our Black Mirror chat.
He was. He did come to our Black Mirror chat last week. And that'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday. Besides that, the only other thing is the YouTube series. We don't know the date or time of that, or whether or not we're going to all be participating, because it depends on who's doing it and where and what, because of timing. They haven't released that yet. So, hi, Donut. How are you? I'm actually glad to see you here. So that is actually nice. So on that, I think that's it. Besides Mayhem on Saturday, I think I have a light week. But you know what? I shouldn't have said that, because every time I say that,
well, you did pretty much stick to it last week, though.
I didn't do I didn't do AITA. Yeah, because so. Well, I am working on some other things, some one-on-one conversations with people. I love to do those, JC, just like I'd love to do this.
Yeah, I love listening to them. The series that you did with Megan, she was so gracious to share her story with addiction and be able to ask questions. It's already helped a lot of people who have listened to it.
There's been a lot of good
helped
response.
me understand more, because I don't have any experience myself or thankfully with anyone that I'm close to with addiction. So it allowed me to learn things that I wouldn't otherwise. So and get to know Megan better too. So it was awesome.
Right. It was very brave, and it will matter to other people, and it's very relatable, and she's a lovely girl and very brave, and I was very honored to do it with her. There's other things on the channel like that, which we did with Just Chat, about families going through problems with addictions when you're not the addict, but some of the things that affect families. And but I love those, so I can't wait to start doing more and more of that. I'm gonna have to put my clothes on and not be so funny all the time.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna stop doing Mayhem, no matter what they do.
No,
no matter what they say.
So fun.
I am not going to stop doing that for a while. That kind of helps me be free, and makes it worth it to see everybody having a good time.
Yes,
so on that
it is
note,
a lot of fun.
On that note, I think we'll put the outro in, talk to the chat for a minute, and then I will be talking to you soon, JC. And once we know what episode, she'll be putting it up, and hopefully we'll see some of you over at the book club and reading Nathaniel Hawthorne, who's very good. You're going to like it. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Again.
Thanks, chat.
I'll see you in your tinfoil hat later. Bye.
Bye.